delights as he rises on its right and goes wandering. So many people praise the sun as if seen in the sea. Ceaselessly, their eyelids flutter from his immaculate light shining from so far off. Those who approach have his sustaining strength as they strive to reach his feet. Thaipusam, a Hindu festival, draws 1 million people every year to Batu caves in Malaysia, where they make the pilgrimage up 272 steps to the temple of the Hindu deity Lord Muruga. But Thaipusam is shrouded in mystery. Devotees often perform extraordinary physical feats that defy conventional norms. So what is Thaipusam really about? Why do devotees put themselves through such great physical stresses? Unravel these mysteries as we witness Thaipusam through the eyes of 2 devotees from different backgrounds. Dr. Carl Vadivela Bell, a Christian by birth who resides in Adelaide, Australia, and Guna, a local Malaysian Indian who is a born Hindu, experience their challenges and their struggles in their pilgrimage to Lord Muruga. Carl and his family had previously lived in Canberra before moving to Adelaide.
We decided to move to Adelaide in 1988. I'd been working in Canberra for a number of years. My career had been taken from me, in effect, largely because of my involvement in Hindu activities or in Thaipusam. Now, I should explain that I don't proselytise as a religious figure, and I don't go out and talk to people who don't want to listen. Religion is a private issue, but it seemed unacceptable to some people in the public service that I should be taking a kavadi. So we just found that Canberra was becoming stifling. My family are basically Hindu. My wife is a practising Hindu as I am. The children practice their Hinduism in their own way, but they don't structure their lives around Hinduism the way I do. In terms of formal observation, you will find most Hindus will have a prayer room and they'll establish their own altar. And what happens within that is probably where they will get most of their spiritual impetus and experiences. We're lucky here in Adelaide that we do have a Hindu temple. The temple was opened in 1987 with the installation of a particular icon of Ganesha, and it was called the Sri Ganesha Temple because Ganesha is the most worshipped god in Hinduism and is a meeting place for all Hindus. We're a mixed community here in Adelaide. We have both North and South Indians and a variety of different belief structures. So over the years, that temple has been redeveloped into a very fine, small temple, which has a number of deities in it. We provide for the entire range of festivals that are held by the Hindu groups in Adelaide, and we have a community that is generally friction-free. In other words, we're able to share the temple, to come together on big festival days, and to work together quite effectively. So the temple has been done basically in the style of a South Indian temple, and I think it's a credit to the community.
Guna is a born Hindu and he lives in Kuala Lumpur, the capital city of Malaysia. He lives with his family, who are all practicing Hindus.
I'm staying with my mom and my niece, my sister. Basically, we are living in a small house. It's called a flat. Only for Thaipusam that I'll be vegetarian for almost a month. The whole period of me being vegetarian at that point of time, there's a lot of changes on me, and those are the things that we have to do on Thaipusam. All the devotees, they will have prayers in their houses, and we will go to their houses and have bhajans, chanting, worshipping Lord Muruga's mantras. When we have the prayers in their houses, we get to know their parents, and the parents get to know us. It builds a better relationship among the community as well.
Carl and Gunnar were drawn to Thaipusam for different reasons.
I first became involved in Thaipusam after witnessing it in 1978. I was here as working with the Australian High Commission. When I went back to Australia in 1979, I suffered culture shock. And after I'd been back for a few months, I was having a debate with a group of people talking about genetic engineering. And the arrogance of their approach dismayed me enormously. But one person came to me and said, "You're arguing from a religious point of view. What are you arguing from?" And I said, without thinking, "I'm a Hindu." So the changes that had been occurring in me, and which I hadn't noticed, had come to the attention only at the time when I was involved in this particular dispute.
First, when I took Kavadi, it was because of my cousin brother who met in an accident. We were on the verge of losing him. I just did my vow and I did my prayers, and he's safe today. So after that, I started caring for 3 years, and after the 3rd year, I didn't have the feeling to stop. Actually, I feel, why should we stop?
I just had the feeling that I should come back. I had a deep sense of feeling that Malaysia had something to teach me, that Hinduism had something to teach me, and I was on the very edge of learning what it was, and learn something about Hinduism, and the best way to do that was to take a Kavadi.
After being away for so many years, Carl makes an emotional trip back to Batu Caves to prepare himself for the festival ahead.
I've always regarded Batu Caves as more or less a second spiritual home. I'm Australian by birth and by breeding and by upbringing, but I've always found Batu Caves to be a special place, and I always find it deeply moving to be back here, always. It never fails to amaze me and to captivate me.
Batu Caves is a magnificent limestone hill with many caves located within. Many holy temples can be found inside, and it has long been regarded as a sacred site for Hindus. Since the 1890s, Hindu pilgrims have been drawn to Batu Caves. The pilgrimage back to Malaysia has allowed Carl to deepen his relationship with God. But it has also given him the opportunity to catch up with some old friends.
Mr. Narayanan, Lakshmi Narayanan. Mr. Narayanan actually was introduced to me by a mutual friend who studied with him in India. We lived in Malaysia for 3 years. We've developed a lot of very deep and rich friendships, and we're able to stay with people that we like, we trust, that understand us. So we stayed with friends right through the whole time we were in Malaysia. I was very, very nervous when I took my first Kavadi. very nervous indeed, because I just felt, firstly, that I was an intruder. Every first timer with a cavity is nervous. But to tell you the truth, I was more than nervous. I was really scared that it wasn't not that I wasn't scared of the pain. If there was any pain, I was ready to take it. But what I was scared of is that I wouldn't get the trance, that having come all this way, I'd make a complete fool of myself. Because you see, that's the ego. And the ego gets in the way. Once you learn to submit your ego, then it's not a problem.
The Kavadi is a central part to the Thaipusam festival. But what exactly is a Kavadi? Mrs. Saroja has owned the Sri Ambal store in Batu Caves for 20 years. During Thaipusam, she supplies Kavadis to many devotees.
Most of the people who do this is those who vow for Lord Murugan, They ask for certain thing, they get it. And they will say, we will carry kavadis for you. Heavy burdens, They will try to carry it as heavy as they could by thanksgiving him. Because what they asked for, they got it. So they carry it with this design form. They design it with peacock feathers, decoration with flowers and all that. And then they will carry and fulfill their vow.
A lot of Hindu devotees take up the Kavadi because it is a form of worship, and it comes from a particular mythology of the demon Idumban. And he was commissioned to carry 2 hills. So he set off with the 2 hills on a pole in a swaying motion. And this was the burden that he was to carry to the south. When he reached South India at the place we call Palani, he put the hills down and he found they became attached to the ground. And he encountered a god on the hill, and this was, of course, Murugan. And he said, henceforth, those who carry a burden in the way that you've carried a burden will be blessed. So that is the original Kavadi. So it's actually a ritual representing the psychic burden that a human carries. So you carry the burden and you carry it up into the cave and you lay it at the devotee's feet.
Carl and Gunnar have made separate preparations for their Kavadis.
The temple that I go to, they make a number of Kavadis which you can rent. So normally I'm fortunate in that they will reserve a Kavadi for me if I write and say that I'm coming up. This is a special place for me. This will be the 13th Kavadi I've taken from this place, so it has very special memories for me.
Meanwhile, Gunnar's friends help prepare his Kavadi at the Sri Krishna temple in Brickfields, Kuala Lumpur.
Actually, we can finish this by 1 or 2 weeks since we are all working. So we have to consider both sides. After work, we have to go for the prayers. After prayers, in the night, we come and do the Kavadi. And during weekends, like Saturday, Sundays also, we spend most of our time over here. And if you see, like, it will take 1 month to complete the whole Kavadi. Lord Muruga, his his vehicle is like peacock. The main part is just like the peacock feather. This is the one we want to shape to be really nice.
The month leading up to Thaipusam, devotees must prepare their minds, bodies and souls for the task ahead. Many devotees begin fasting or go on a strict vegetarian diet while engaging in a lot of meditation and prayers. As Thaipusam draws closer, Brickfields, the little India of Kuala Lumpur, comes alive as the Indian community gets together to make final preparations and purchases for Thaipusam.
most of these people who are staying around this area, like they will be coming to Little India to buy all the things for prayers, garlands, sometimes even to buy milk. Business generally increase for Indians when when they have Thaipusam. 2 days before Thaipusam, all the devotees we get together in the temple. We will tie a yellow knot with turmeric to show that we are taking Kavadi. After tying that, we have restrictions whereby you can't go to funerals, you can't go to public toilets, you can't be sitting around restaurants and eating restaurant foods. You have to eat at home, or it's maybe maybe your friend's mother's cook. You can have that, but not in the restaurant or anything, because we wouldn't know how hygienic is it and how clean are they doing it. After tying the knot, each of us will be carrying a coconut. We will light the coconut and then they break it on the floor to avoid evil spirits.
Now with Thaipusam just around the corner, Carl and Gunnar reveal their state of mind.
I'm feeling fairly calm at the moment. The first time I was here, I felt very anxious that I could actually perform the Kavadi ritual properly, and I felt a little bit worried. You always feel just a bit of apprehension when you come into a Kavadi, but I'm sure that having brought me all this way, the deity won't let me down.
No, I'm actually tired. I'm not sure whether I will have the full energy to bring it up. And there's a lot of cases that we have seen, like halfway people can't carry it, they just take it out down and then they'll start walking up without the Kavadi. So I don't want that to happen. When you are there, you don't know whether you'll be able to climb up the hill. And sometimes people give up halfway. You don't know what is the pain till you carry it up. See, once you reach up, then you will feel the release is there. Till that, the nervous is still there.
On the midnight before Thaipusam, the Mariamman temple in downtown Kuala Lumpur is packed with devotees.
The crowd get together where the chariot departs from this temple and it goes to Batu Cave.
The chariot procession is very important, and it actually occurs the night prior to Thaipusam Day. Normally, what the chariot procession represents is a kingship ritual. So the chariot leaves the temple, then it moves out to Batu Caves.
The chariot's journey covers over 15 kilometers and takes over 8 hours to reach its destination. Thousands of faithful devotees travel on foot with the chariot throughout the night.
It's a sort of form of cosmic regeneration. He sees his crowd, the crowd of devotees see him, they're able to exchange whether physical things or just the presence, where he's then ready to receive his devotees and their offerings.
In the early morning of Thaipusam Eve, the chariot finally arrives at Batu Caves.
There will be a lot of people who will be waiting for the arrival of the chariot. From there, they will be walking into the temple where the deity will be rest, and from there the prayers will be started.
Once he gets to Batu Caves, he's installed downstairs. The golden bell, which is the weapon of Thaipusam, is taken from him and taken upstairs to the cave, where he's then ready to receive his devotees and their offerings. The granting of the veil, the bestowal of the veil, is is actually the very essence of what Thaipusam is all about. Vel literally means spear. It's Pavati that gives Murugan the Vel. So it gives him the weaponry to fight evil.
On the eve of Thaipusam, in the morning itself, we will bring all our kavadis to Batu Cave, right? And then we will set up, fix up, and then we will do the last touch-ups.
Put it down.
The kavadi weigh about 40 to 50 kg, and some are more than that. The kavadi that we do is almost about 1,000 ringgit. So each kavadi there will be two persons sharing actually. So one will be taking in the morning and the other guy will be taking in the evening. So they will share the amount. To prepare a kavadi like what we carry is at least about 2 weeks. Sticking up the peacocks and then cutting cloths, putting decoration stuff.
On the eve of Thaipusam, the excitement is building up at Batu Caves.
Some of the crowd remains and there will be more crowd coming in. Once the crowd is there, it's the whole day till the end of Thaipusam. People will start watching fireworks. The festival started. Once the flag is up, that's where it shows that it is Thaipusam.
At dawn, on Thaipusam Day, Carl is already preparing himself at the Doraisamy temple.
The time is about 7:15. We've just had the early morning puja here, which is the first preparation for the day. And from now on, we will progress towards bearing the kavadi. There will be many rituals between now and the time we actually leave. We're just in the state now of preparation. So I feel a bit, as always, just a bit apprehensive. But I'm very confident this will be a very good kavadi.
A small crowd of friends and family has gathered at the Doraisamy temple. They wait in anticipation of the events that are about to take place.
In religious matters, you cannot ever be definite about anything. So this may be my last time. In fact, that's what I would rationally plan, that it would be my last time. But who knows? The future can hold very unexpected things. This is my 15th. You are required to make a vow that is in multiples of 3 normally, and 15 is an odd number but an auspicious number. So that would be a good one to finish with. But I can't tell.
The morning of Thaipusam, all the devotees, they will get together at the riverside. The devotees bathe because to purify themselves with the clean water.
This purification process is merely the first step of many rituals that are about to follow during Thaipusam. Some devotees meditate as they prepare themselves to enter a state of trance.
There are a lot of misconceptions about Thaipusam among some people. The criticism that I came across was that Malaysia was celebrating in a way that's banned in India. But that's just not true. The festival's not banned in India. As a simple Google on the net will reveal kavadi worship very similar to that that's in Malaysia. The second is that you're abusing your body as a temple. That is, again, not true. I mean, You're not damaging your body. The existence is temporary and the flesh is transient. So I don't find that holds whatsoever.
This is a personal choice actually. There are a lot of ways of worshipping God actually. Some people they don't do carrying kavadi and all that. Some people they like to go more into chanting or yoga. That is also another way of praying to God. Decorating kavadi for Murugan is something that he wants actually. Some people might be saying it's like waste of money and all that, but it is up to their individual thinking. Okay, like what we feel is we wanna decorate for Muruga and we wanna bring it up and show it to him. It's basically individual perceptions, but I couldn't say that we are greater than others or what. No, it's not. It's not like that.
Carl makes his final preparations for the festival as friends from the temple assist him. His kavadi is then mounted upon him as the adjustments are made to ensure that it fits properly. Kavadis must be securely fastened so that it does not fall off during the vigorous dancing that takes place during the pilgrimage. Once Carl is satisfied, the kavadi will be laid down as he prepares for the next ritual. Devotees work themselves into a frenzy as the veils or spears are brought out for the piercing ritual. At this point, many devotees start entering a state of trance as their minds and bodies prepare themselves for what is about to take place. Bananas are used to lubricate the spears for the piercings. These mystical piercings defy the conventional understanding of the physical body, as no blood is noticeable during the piercings. Carl's month-long meditation and fasting have prepared him for this very moment.
The initial trance doesn't last long. That's replaced after the piercings. I find that just calms down to this more superconscious level. Now, a kavadi doesn't have to involve piercing, but in actual fact, there's also symbolic representation behind that, and there's the idea of mona. In other words, silence. So that if you have your tongue pierced, you can't talk. You have to think of the deity. You are at a point where the deity comes first. So you're announcing the gift of speech for that duration. Actually represent the transience of the flesh. The flesh is transient. who you are inside is what is permanent, the soul. So in actual fact, you're saying that by doing this, you are showing that what you are, the conjunction of soul and body, is but a passing phase. But it's not only that. There's a miraculous aspect for a lot of people because you don't feel any pain. And that is signifying in a way that you have the deity's grace to do this without suffering the pain. When other people come up to me for blessings, they're not worshipping me as Carl Bell. They're actually recognising me as somebody who is at that point received a power from the divine, which I then am in a position to pass on. Because I would never flatter myself that I'm a particularly powerful sort of person.
The pilgrimage to Muruga's temple in Batu caves begins.
When you hear the sound of the drums and people chanting, it automatically makes you want to move. Lord Murugan is, among his other qualities, is Lord of the dance. My wife will tell you that I don't dance very often, but I dance a lot at Thaipusam. I try to concentrate solely on taking my kavadi to Batu caves. And that is the final part of the pilgrimage, and it's what I need to concentrate on.
Hundreds of thousands of people pack the final approach to the stairs that leads up to the caves.
When you take a kavadi within Batu caves, you have to climb the 272 steps, and then you're into the cave, and there's a lot of symbols within the cave of Murugan's victory. In other words, you're taking, if you like, a pilgrimage that relates to his victory over evil. But this year, I seem to have got steps very fast. Each of these steps represents the a cosmic possibility, if you like, a potentiality. So in other words, it represents a particular phase of your own spiritual evolution.
After 5 hours of journeying on his bare feet, Carl finally makes it up to the top of the stairs.
When you climb the stairs, you feel the pull towards the altar. It's quite incredible. You just want to be there and in front of the altar. So you do your final dance before the god, and you more or less say, in these very simple terms, here I am, I made a vow to do this for you and I've done it.
Once in front of the altar of Lord Muruga, friends and family members will help devotees to remove their piercings. The festival transcends ethnic boundaries as it attracts devotees who have traveled great distances to make this pilgrimage. Despite the long journey, Carl sits patiently as his piercings are removed.
When you take off the kavadi, you are presented to the deity. The milk is taken and poured over the golden bell, which is in the main shrine. You're brought out of trance. And generally speaking, after that, you go home and sleep for a couple of hours because you've expended as much energy as running a marathon. You feel that when you finish taking a kavadi, you're a different person from when you started. Hopefully Murugan has given me another grain of knowledge that will help me in spiritual evolution and help me to help other people.
As Carl's pilgrimage comes to an end, Guna's pilgrimage is about to begin.
Before they start carrying kavadi, whoever is going to like shave bald, they will go to the one of the barber shop there, which they do the shaving. They shave and then they will pray to Lord Muruga for whatever that they have prayed for, or to wash up their sins, or what if they have vowed. After shaving, the barbers place some saffron on our head to avoid the bacteria and also itchiness. Getting dressed for the kavadi, we normally help each other. Once we are ready, we will place our kavadis along the road itself.
As the kavadis are mounted on the devotees, some are completely overwhelmed with emotion.
We start doing our prayers. We actually start chanting and carrying our kavadis.
Guna makes sure his kavadi is securely fastened right before he enters the state of trance.
The trance is actually getting into the Lord Muruga's music. Those trance that we are getting, it's not all the way till where we walk up to the stairs. It is just for a while till we pierce our needles. You will have a different feeling where you don't feel the pain on your body. Once the kavadi has been rest on our shoulder, it is the joy. Whatever that we put on the decoration and the effort, when we carry it and see people actually carrying up their hand and bowing to the kavadis, we feel what we have decorated and bring up the deity on the kavadi and makes people to feel blessed, and they carry up their hand and actually bow to us.
Other fellow devotees accompany Guna as he makes his way towards the caves. The kavadis of Guna and his fellow devotees are displayed proudly as they make their way through the crowd.
The kavadi carries 50 kgs of weight, so you actually will be carrying 50 kg weight for 500 meters, and after that 500 meters you also will be walking up stairs.
The extreme physical demands soon begin to take their toll. As day turns to night, Guna finally arrives at the foot of the stairs. With one final push, Guna surges up the stairs.
The complete journey takes about 6 hours for us to reach the cave. It is very, very tiring. As I'm walking up the stairs, I wasn't in trance. I had to use my own energy level with some other friends and family members' support, and to actually finish up the vow. I was very relieved, and I thank Lord Muruga to actually let me have the energy and bring up the kavadi to the deity itself. all the devotees, they will go to get the blessings by showing the light to Muruga.
As his long journey comes to a close, an exhausted Guna has his kavadi dismounted from him. Finally, the piercing is removed.
After taking out the veil, I don't feel any pain on my body, except for my tongue. It was a bit swollen. Other than that, it is just body tightness and you just need some rest. The next day morning after Thaipusam, the chariot which is being brought from the Mariamman temple in town, it will be brought back from Batu Cave through the town to the temple again. As the chariot passes through the town, there will be devotees waiting along the street for the arrival of the chariot.
The chariot makes a glorious return home. Devotees will then carefully lower the deity from the chariot and carry the deity back into the temple.
After the arrival of the deity, the main priest of the temple will do the prayers.
The ceremony finally ends, and the musicians and devotees make their way back home.
Physically, obviously I'm a bit tired still, but mentally, spiritually, I'm feeling very happy, very calm. I think the relationship between whoever took the kavadi with us, it became much more closer, and we have a better understanding each other. It is like a family if you look at it now. Everyone is like standing down there, taking photos, and all of them are together. So I think this will be going on further on, and years come through, everyone will be doing this forever.
Two men, two cultures, began a great journey over a month ago. Both came from different backgrounds and took different paths. Along the way, they were faced with great challenges, but overcame them. Now, at the end of their journey, they're unified in achieving their common goal, transcending the ordinary and finding peace.